4. We just climbed up Big Cedar Mountain to the ledge, and we are checking out the lookout. We're gonna have a snack. Yay! Southern breeze. And you sing all the voices of the mountain. You paint all the colors of the wind. Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
On behalf of the Appalachian Trail, I officially dub thee Scoutmaster Hermione, Scout for short, SMH for very short, in honor of your impressive survival skills and your Hermione Granger-like backpack that has every item you could possibly need. Scoutmaster Hermione. This is the shelter and tenting side, Bear Cables privy. Here's home for the night and the shelter, and we have it completely to ourselves. This is our little home away from home on the 4th of July. Here's me, here's Rachel, and I even have space to do laundry. Yay! Hanging up the laundry to dry. We wash it in the hotel. So today was day 4. We had an awesome morning. Great hike into Big Cedar Mountain. We got some great ledge views, which I'm sure you saw before this video. And then we had a big 2.5 mile descent. It was slow and steady, and then we came up and over 5 little, I call them mini peaks, like little humps. Only a couple hundred feet ascent, but then you're immediately descending and doing another one. So beep, 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 right up. And we climbed a little bit of the Blood Mountain shoulder, but then we lost all that elevation hiking in, I think, 0.4 to get to this shelter off trail. So that's like an extra 0.8 of a mile. We don't get to count, but I'm counting.
Okay, we are waking up in the morning of day 5 at Woods Hole Shelter. It rained torrential downpours last night, and I found out that my rain fly is no longer waterproof and dripped on me all night long. And I buried into my sleeping bag and managed to stay damp instead of soaked. But the sun is just coming out. It has been torrential downpouring all morning. We took all of our stuff out. Here's my tent. Completely soaked. Gotta try to get that dry. And we're gonna head out. We have like 3.4 over Blood Mountain this morning. You can't see it. Plus a 0.4. So actually it's 4 miles because it's plus the 0.4 out to the trail. to get back. So just about 4 miles, and then we get into the Outfitters and I buy a new tent and I ship this one home. Adventures continue. Hopefully we won't get any more rain today. Oh my gosh, no more rain. Let's take a break. Okay, bye. Good morning from the top of Blood Mountain. We are on the lookout for rattlesnakes. They said there were 2 up here, so we won't be here long. Rachel's not afraid. Descended the incredibly steep Appalachian Trail section from the top of Blood Mountain down into Neal Gap, across the street, and we arrived at Mountain Crossings. And one of the first things you see there is the boot tree, where hikers throw up their boots when they break or when they quit the trail. This was our view while we waited for our pizzas to cook in the oven from the Mountain Crossing Outfitters store. Welcome to the after show for episode 3, Blood Mountain. So, a short episode. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but funnily enough, I think July 5th for me was really a turning point, and Blood Mountain was maybe my favorite mountain that we hiked the whole trail, which is weird because it's the one everyone fears and tells you about. Like, it's so terrible. Like, no, it's
Joel,
not.
it was not terrible. It was not.
So, I can see why people would say that. If you go up the northbound side, that is a very challenging
like
and technically tricky hike. So that could be very hard, but that's the side we went down. And it was on the way to food and a hostel and laundry, so I didn't care. But let's rewind a second. July 4th of July, we left Dahlonega, and we got a ride with Mama's taxi back to Woody Gap and got back on the trail. That was really hard for me. That was maybe like the second hardest day for me of the whole trip outside of
getting back on the trail. You didn't want to go.
No, I didn't.
There were so many cute activities in Dahlonega. There was a list of activities. It was like a 5K run, a 10K run.
There was watermelon. There were fireworks. Oh my gosh!
I knew she didn't want to go.
I really wanted to stay.
You were so brave and so wonderful to go back out there with me.
I was so unhappy to be back on the trail, even if I was in clean clothes that were like a little bit wet.
They kind of smelled like Dove soap though.
Dove and body odor. It was not
pleasant. Don't use Dove soap for laundry.
But July 4th was an okay hiking day. We saw a lot of cool stuff. I sprained my ankle.
The bird. Oh yeah. Well, tell the story.
I mean, there's not much to tell. I tripped on flat ground and sprained my ankle. Aimee swears she heard a pop.
So scary. It could have been something on your backpack. It could have been a stick or something as you went down. I just turned around in slow motion and you were boom, slammed on the ground.
I was down. I needed to stay down for a couple minutes.
There is nothing more helpless as a feeling than to be with someone who is critically injured on a trail and you have no idea what your next move is going to be. If it was broken, we would have been hobbling you out.
or hit an SOS on my satellite phone or something. That was,
I wouldn't have paid for that. We would have walked out.
It's like $10,000.
I need to be unconscious before we use that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, injuries are really serious out there, and so at that exact moment I was like, our hike is over. Our hike is over. Like, it's okay, but our hike is over. There's no way anyone's gonna carry a 42-pound pack on a like twisted, broken, or sprained ankle. Rachel did that for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've sprained my ankle a lot. I used to play volleyball and I have a lot of injuries to both my ankles. So I was pretty sure it wasn't broken. The pain was manageable, especially with ibuprofen, although July 4, July 5, July 6, my ankle did swell significantly. Kind of got up to like softball size. But I mean, it's doing a lot better now. I still have pain, and I'm still being careful not to run on it. But I'm biking and walking and doing regular things. So.
We're a week off trail, just about a week off trail.
So I think it was a minor sprain. It just really hurt like the dickens at the time. But yeah, I think it definitely slowed us down. I mean, day 2 and day 3 were challenging in terms of the water situation, and then we said like, oh, it's way too many miles. I don't know that it so much was too many miles, but too many miles for that situation. It was incredibly hot, so we were just sweating all day long, walking in wet clothes and losing those electrolytes and needing to constantly fill up on water and that kind of thing. But I think had I not sprained my ankle and had you not then later injured your hamstring, we probably could have hit higher mileage sooner. But yeah, I loved Blood Mountain. We got really awesome views, even though the clouds started moving in. We got to see the rattlesnake, which is cool.
We didn't see the baby rattlesnake. I'm kind of okay with that.
I was actually a little bit nervous about that because where is he?
Yes. I actually felt a lot better once we saw the rattlesnake because the anticipation of 20 or 30 minutes of hiking, and you know it's coming up, but you don't know where it is. I mean, you're looking at every crevasse, you're looking at every shadow, and you just can't find it.
Snake.
And then it's out on a ledge with like 100 feet of
looking at it.
Easy viewing. So yeah. And it was a timber rattlesnake, which was really cool. Of course, we were listening to other people, and everyone was saying, "Oh, it's Eastern Diamondback." And then when I got home and made the video, I looked at the pattern and thought that's not right. And then I looked online, and it's actually a timber rattlesnake. So that was neat because those are pretty rare where I'm from, up in New England. Timber rattlers are incredibly rare, and they're only in deep, deep forests. You know, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont. We don't have any other poisonous snakes. That's it. The timber rattler is the only one that has been seen there, and I'm pretty sure they're on one of the lists for being like endangered up there because they're very, very rare sightings of them. But now we've seen one, which
all the poisonous snakes.
We saw a lot of the venomous snakes. Yeah.
But yeah, so I really enjoyed Blood Mountain, and then it was a low mileage day too, which worked out for the sprained ankle.
Actually, that did work out well. It was only 4 miles?
Yeah, it was like 4 miles.
And on our way down the mountain, we met a hiker who is a former fireman, and he told us delightful stories. And I can't actually say his trail name on camera because
it's not a bad word.
Yes, but it has to do, and you might be able to figure it out. It has to do with his story of how he got his name, and can I tell the story real quick?
Yeah, well, he could also be known as No Socks.
No Socks. We could call him No Socks. So this gentleman, he was a firefighter. On his first call out, he had to go to the bathroom. He had to go number 2. So he made the whole fire truck pull over at some random farmhouse, and he like ran into the farmhouse and asked to use their bathroom. And so when he got back to the farmhouse, they named him his trail name, which I cannot say. And then on Blood Mountain, he was recovering from surgery on his knee, and it was like a full year after his surgery, and he was excited to do like his first hike, so he trained for it, and this was his big hike, was Blood Mountain. It was on his bucket list. And so the morning he sets out, and he decides he has to go number 2 on the trail, so that's where one sock went. And then as he's telling us the story, I look down and he has no socks on. And so I say, well, where's your other sock? And he said, I got about 200 more feet and needed to use the other sock. So that's why his name was something Brick.
Fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank. I gotta do it backwards. Fill in the blank. Brick. So that was his trail name. He was delightful to hike.
He was fine. We hiked probably the last mile and a half down the mountain.
It was a great morale booster to have someone to actually hike with because his pace was quick, and Rachel you were leading, but you were leading at a quicker pace than normal because we had a guest with us. We wanted to appear like really fast.
I
And
want to
tough.
slow him down.
We want to slow him down. He was like 6.5 feet tall.
Also pizza.
Also pizza.
So yeah, when we got to the bottom of Neal's Gap, we got to stay at Mountain Crossings. They're an outfitter, and they have a hiker hostel, and they don't have a shuttle, but you could hitchhike fairly easily. There's a big parking lot area, and they're like, if you have a pack, someone's going to take you down the road. And then down the road, there's more amenities if you need to get other food or go to a restaurant or something. We didn't. We just bought pizza, which they'll cook for you in an oven, and
we
snacks.
completely raided the outfitters. I mean, I bought my new tent. We got everything we could possibly
we picked
need.
up our
Electrolytes.
boxes.
We got our boxes there. Which had like so much food that we didn't even need to do a resupply. We just carried 7 days worth of food
with us. So we've done a 7-day food carry.
7-day food haul,
which was completely unnecessary because we never went 7 days without stopping in town.
When we started out prepping for the trail, we thought, we'll be eating double portions for dinner. You know, I'm going to make this 2-person meal and I'll just eat the whole thing because I need 600 or 700 calories. But the truth is, when you're making it, it's so voluminous when you add the water that you can't possibly eat the two servings that you thought you were going to be able to eat. So we started splitting them, and we had so many dinners. We're just like planned to have one dinner for 2 servings for the both of us every night, and that way we could expand our food. And we only needed to pick up a couple more things in Mountain Outfitters to have enough for our next 2 hauls, which was helpful because then we didn't have to hitch anywhere and get out and get back on the trail. It just takes a lot of time to do that. We did meet lots of awesome people at Mountain Crossings. We met 2 of the 3 boys from the unit, although we didn't know them yet, because we just saw them.
Yeah, we just saw them.
And we offered them pizza, and then they were heading up the trail, and we're like, oh, okay, they're hikers, they're not staying here. And then we went into the shelter, and we saw a very quiet Andrew. And we just thought he was quiet.
He was recovering. He just celebrated his birthday the night before. So.
Yeah, and 4th of July at the same time. So and he also had that really hard day too that we told you about. So he was hurting.
Napping in the beanbag chairs. This place had beanbag chairs and an epic VHS collection.
They had the biggest VHS collection. It beats out the Library of Congress.
It was
amazing.
Fantastic.
So, hundreds of VHS
lots
tapes.
of fun VHS
I'm going
tapes.
to go find some and send them some more. They had multiple copies of things.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And so we got to hang out there and do some sink laundry again because they didn't have laundry for hikers.
So we get to hang it out in the sun for a minute, and it did dry pretty good.
And then we
met Calamity later that night.
She was an actual thru hiker who was finishing her thru hike. It was she had 2 days left to make it to Springer Mountain, and she had planned out how she was going to do like 20 miles and then like a final 10 miles or something like that.
And then she wasn't quitting at Springer. She was also still going down to Amicalola that day, so she added that extra 8 miles on. So she did, and what we took us 4 days, she did in 2, plus 8 more.
But she was so excited to have people to talk to. She rolled in at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
She couldn't believe that people were
still awake.
Yeah.
So
I guess when you do big mileage like that, sometimes you get in the dark and,
out in the woods, people would be asleep. If it's dark out, you're sleeping. But, we had electricity and showers, so why are we sleeping?
Right.
And that's where you got your hamstring injury. You want to talk about it, or you want me to start the story?
I'll tell the story. You can add
I'm gonna edit
details.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on my bunk, and my dad has famously said my whole life, it comes in 3s. No matter what it is, it comes in 3s. And so I'm sitting on my bed, and I'm shaking out my sleeping pad to hang it up, and this weevil falls out. But it was the biggest weevil I had ever seen. And weevils are like a little bug that has like this little rhinoceros horn. And at the moment, I couldn't remember what it was. I've Googled weevils 18 times in my life. You find it in rice or something. You're like, what the heck is this? So the weevil falls out on the floor, and I'm freaking out thinking it's a stink bug. And then I'm like, I can't squash it. What if it's a stink bug? It'll stink up the whole bedroom. And there was already like somebody sleeping further down. And, Andrew was in the room. We didn't really know him yet. And then me and Rachel, we're going to have to smell this thing because it was right by our bed. So I was like trying to like move it, and I was freaking out. Bug number 1. Then I am like just on my bed, and I'm rolling some clothes or something, and here comes this enormous spider, It falls on the ground. I'm like, oh God! I just like kill it, and I'm sitting there like a little shaken because there's like the 2 bug scares within a very short amount of time together.
And then Rachel comes out of the shower and her hair's wrapped up in a towel and she sits down in front of me and on her head is this thing and I don't know what it is and I can't even describe it to her. I'm like, and I was like, scarab, beetle, monster, none of those words are coming out. All I can do is freak out. And so she's going to show you what it was.
So just to clarify, because the next part of the story is how I like basically threw it at her. Okay.
Oh God.
No.
It was so bad.
No. If you've ever experienced this, I sit down, I'm like very excited to be clean, and she makes this horrified face at me and is incapable of language, and all she can go is, on your head. And so naturally, I'm like, well, get it off! So I flip my hair forward, and it comes at her. And it turns out that it's this guy. I'm going to show you on my phone. It's this guy.
Huge! It was huge. It was like this big on her head. It was this big.
That is an eyed click beetle. They're very common, very harmless. But at the time, I didn't know what it was. She couldn't tell me what it was.
No idea what that was.
So it kind of like went flying towards her.
So bug number 3 comes flying at me, and my immediate defense move is to bring my leg up and hide under it. And as I'm pulling my leg up, because your legs are a little stiff when you stop hiking and you stop moving, well, after those huge mileage days, I yanked my leg up so hard and fast that I Charlie horsed my hamstring. And then I was sitting there in agony, and I'm like screaming. I'm like, ah! She's thinking I'm freaking out about the bug, but I like just seriously, I thought I tore the ligament in my leg. It hurt so bad. I was screaming. I was so hurt so bad. You had this very graceful fall to the ground. You're like, I'm okay, just give me a minute. I was screaming. I was like, ripped my ACL or tore my ligament or broke my leg or wrecked my hamstring or whatever. I have no anatomy, physiology knowledge. Leg broken.
But yeah. So took the beetle outside once I realized it wasn't a tarantula on my head. And
that was just too many bugs in a half an hour, y'all.
Yeah.
Too many bugs.
So we were a little cautious after that. Looked around for bugs before we sat anywhere.
Yes.
But overall, mountain crossings was really fun. Really nice little stopover. We got to wear packs. That's where we found out that mine was closer to 40 pounds than 30, which is what I was going for.
Yeah. Mine was 32 pounds more than 20, which is what I was going for.
Well, to be fair, 40 pounds was with water and a ton of food. So, like, our heaviest, I figure at my heaviest, I was carrying a 45-pound pack.
And 12 to 14 pounds of it was water.
Generally, I was probably closer to a 40-pound pack with a decent amount of water in it.
Yeah.
So
I just opted to carry full water pretty much from then on out just so I wouldn't be miserable.
Yeah.
And I had about a 4-liter capacity.
I had 5, so I'd usually carry around 3 unless I was worried about the water. And then I'd carry 5 and just be sad. Because water is about 2.2 pounds per liter.
So, yeah, mountain crossings. And then the people that worked there were super helpful and nice.
Really nice.
I had to ship back my broken, soaking wet tent. And how do you do that? So I put it inside one of my lock-sack, bear-proof smelling bags. Like, it keeps the scents away from everything. So it's a huge Ziploc bag with a double seal, and I'm like scrunching it up skinny to fit in a tube to send home to my husband so that he could clean and wash it and dry it while I was still on the trail. Thank you, Tom. And we're just stuffing every extra thing that we didn't need, like extra plugs. I had 2 extra USB cables. Why did I need 3 extra USB cables?
I sent something home with you.
I have a bunch of your things. Yeah, I'm going to go get them. But we sent home all this extra weight that we didn't need. And I actually probably pulled a couple of pounds with my new tent, which saved a whole pound. And then the things that I sent home, I probably dropped 6 pounds just in that shipment of stuff that you don't end up needing. So, yeah.
I think that's about it.
That's about it. All right. Thanks.
Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in to After Hours with Aimee and Rachel.